Matthijs de Ligt scored an equaliser deep into stoppage time to earn Manchester United a point in a dramatic finale to their Premier League match at Tottenham. And also Tottenham analysis, defeat, to victory, and finally a draw, and also we shall talk Manchester United analysis. Defensive weakness exposed again. The Dutch defender headed home a corner in the last of 6 minutes of stoppage time to snatch a draw for United in a game they seemed to have control of, then almost lost. Bryan Mbeumo had put the visitors ahead in the first half by heading home Amad Diallo's precise right-wing cross. When United goalkeeper Sen Lammens made excellent saves to deny Christian Romero and Mickey van de Ven after the break, Tottenham looked to be heading for their third successive home Premier League defeat. However, the boos that accompanied Matthijs de Ligt's introduction for Xavi Simons midway through the second half turned to cheers when he swiveled on to a cross 6 minutes from time, evaded the attentions of de Ligt and crashed a shot home. The relief inside the stadium was palpable, but much more was to come. Richarlison, the subject of so much criticism recently, thought he had won it for Spurs when he flicked Wilson Odobert's long-range shot past Lammens. But United, who finished with 10 men as striker Benjamin Sesko was injured after they had used all 5 substitutes, had other ideas. With Lammens also up for United corner, de Ligt headed home from an acute angle to give his side a point. There were disbelieving looks from both sides at the end. Richarlison was almost in tears, having jubilantly celebrated his goal, only to realize it had not proved to be the winner. United head coach Ruben Amorim was equally stunned, having watched his side almost toss away a game they seemed certain to win. Who would be a manager? In those final frantic minutes, Thomas Frank and Amorim must have aged years. Spurs boss Frank would surely have been preparing for more boos at the final whistle, given his side had been greeted in that manner at halftime and his decision to replace Simons with Tell had been questioned by the fans. When the dust settles, there are bound to be questions asked of Tottenham's woeful defending for the first goal, which began with Jed Spence being unable to control a long punt downfield that was chased by Amad Diallo, and eventually needing Romero to come to the rescue. Tottenham never sorted themselves out after that, and Pape's needlessly conceded possession inside his own penalty area, which eventually led to Amad's cross from Mbeumo. Too often, the home side failed to make the most of promising attacking positions, and defenders Romero and Van de Ven were the biggest threat until the drama at the end unfolded. It meant Tottenham avoided a 4th home loss of the season, but they have still only claimed 2 points from their last 5 games at their own stadium in the league, something that will have to be rectified if they are to continue fighting for a Champions League place. Manchester United analysis. Defensive weakness exposed again. Amorim's face was a picture at the end, that of someone who couldn't compute what he had just seen. A coach who likes to control everything had just been put through the Premier League washing machine by one of those games where little seems to make sense. On the plus side, United are now 5 games unbeaten. On the negative, for the second week in succession they failed to win after leading at the break, this time after they had been in control of a game against opponents who, unlike them, were not benefiting from having had a full week to prepare. They also conceded 2 goals for the 3rd game in a row. Amorim said on Thursday the leaky defense was a concern and that something has to be done about it. The question is, what? On Saturday his side suffered after Harry Maguire and Casemiro had gone off. Given neither man seems to be able to complete a full 90 minutes, a solution must be found. As at Forest, United were also undone by crosses, a failing which Amorim said his players had been working to correct this week. Evidently, there is much more still to do. Please subscribe to my channel.